So today, in today's session, we are going to learn a little bit about Arishadvargas. We will have like an introductory session about what is exactly the meaning of Arishadvargas and what are they and how they are derived, like, or what is the origin of this whole thing. So when we get into the exact term, Arishadvargas means it's a Sanskrit term. So what is the meaning of that word Arishadvargam? Means Ari means enemy. The word Ari means enemy in Sanskrit. So Shat is the six, number six. So this term is talking about the six enemies, which are which form like a binding for the soul where they cannot grow. So these are the six elements, or these are the six enemies of mind for a soul, which do not let the soul to grow or to move forward in life. So what are those six emotional forces? Why are they called enemies? Why are they not our friends? Because if we look at the purpose of a soul, or if we want to understand why we have taken life or why we are here, what they tell us is every soul which has come from the Bhagavan, every soul's purpose is to go back to him. So they have come from him and they are supposed to go back. So in this journey or in this process, they have to go through certain circumstances or certain phases, we can say. During this journey, they come across so many enemies which they have to win over and get to him. So these Arishadvargas are such enemies which does not let the soul, to get into self-realization or to get into, self-retrospection. So why does a soul needs to do self-realization? Only when, when we go like into ourself and try to understand ourself and see what is obstructing us to go forward, or to see what is the hindrances we have to move forward in our life journey. It's, every single soul which comes onto this earth or which takes birth is said to its final destination is to reach the God again. In this process, many of us, we do not even realize, the purpose why we are here. We just live our lives in ignorance without knowing the purpose of our life. But once we get into this path of self-realization, or if we want to learn more of about our inner self, so the first things what we need to understand is about this Arishadvargas. As we said, these are the six enemies or six emotional forces that bind the mind and keep a person from self-realization or self-retrospection. So what are these six inner enemies we have? We see them in our day-to-day life. We feel them emotionally in our day-to-day life, which actually form our life. Those are the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsaryamu. So what are these? We are going to try to understand a little bit about these terms. What does Kama mean? Kama means it is the, desire form, what we have inside of us, the desires what we have inside. The Krodha is the anger. Lobham is the greed, I want more, I want more, I want everything to myself. That is the lobham. The moha is the attachment. The attachments we have with the, materialistic world, or the attachments we have with our family members, that is the moham. And madam is the pride. We can have like many kinds of madam, for women, they say they have the madam of the beauty. For many of us, we have the madam of the, if we are holding on to a very good position, so they say they have that madam of holding on to a good higher positions in life. Or if we are like very well educated, or we have like higher educational pursuits, they have, they have the vidya madam. So this madam or the pride also varies, like, there are different types of these madam. And the last matsaryam is the any envy, or jealousy. When we see others, or when we see others growth, we get a feeling inside where we feel jealous. Oh, why they have that and why I do not have that, this kind of feeling is called the matsaryam, or the envy, or the jealousy. So we have seen, the six Arishadvargas, which every soul possess, whoever is on this earth, they all have these qualities. uh, when a soul is clear of all these qualities, when they do not have these Arishadvargas, and when they come out of the, ego and attachments, and once they clear all their karmas, the good karma, the bad karma, once that log is clear, they attain the moksha. That is what is the process of attaining the moksha, or reaching the Bhagavan again. So in this process, um, we have heard these terms, trigunas. We are, influenced by these trigunas which are existing in this prakriti. So what does these trigunas mean? Actually, what are they and what do they mean? And what are the characteristics they possess? And what is the relationship between the Arishadvargas and the trigunas which are existing in this prakriti? So the trigunas are called as the sattva, rajas, and tamas. So what are the characteristics of sattva guna? Means, like, if you have, uh, what we have to understand is every person, they have the mixture of these three gunas. That's why, they called the influence of the trigunas. So sometimes, depending on our food habits, or depending on our surroundings, depending on our thought process, one or the other guna, it is, it is dominating. Sometimes the sattva guna dominates, sometimes the rajas dominates, sometimes the tamas dominates. So when the sattva guna dominates, these are the characteristics we see in that person. That is, they have, like, the clarity of mind, their wisdom is enlightened, and they are always in harmony. They are always in peace and harmony. They ask for peace and harmony. They do not enjoy fights, or they do not like fighting with anybody. So these are the characteristics whose sattva guna is more dominating. So, and for when it comes to the rajas, what we see the quality is, when the rajas is dominating, we see like they are more active. They always are on a run. They always want to do something. They have like lot of passion to do something, and they are also very desirous. They have like lot of desires to be fulfilled. So, is there anything wrong with this? To be active, to be passionate, and to be desirous? No, there is nothing wrong in having these qualities. But it is always a good idea to have these rajasic qualities with the sattva gunam, so that the sattva and rajas together, they take us in a positive way. Whereas when it comes to the tamas, the third quality, the major characteristics, what we see in this is, the darkness. Darkness means lack of wisdom, lack of clarity in mind. They have like lot of fear in them. They have ignorance. There is laziness. There is lethargy, and there is negativity with that person. So, when this rajas, when it is combined with the sattva gunam, that person will go in a positive way. He wants to do, he has a passion to do something good, to do something good for others, or to do something good for himself, or to do something good for the society. Whereas when it is combined with the tamas, they have this rajas and tamas together combined. They do not want to do good for others. The qualities, the Arishadvargas mostly come into this picture, and they take control of that person completely, and they lead him into the darkness, or they lead him towards destruction or negativity. So that's why they are always, we are advised to increase the sattva gunam in us. So how do we increase the sattva in us? The main important factor, what Sri Krishna Paramatma mentions in Bhagavad Gita to increase the sattva gunam is the food what we are eating. The food is divided into sattva, rajas, and tamas. So he asks everyone, if you want to increase the sattva in you, pick these sattvic foods or consume the sattvic foods. That way your sattvam will increase. There are, even in the foods, there are sattvic foods, there are rajasic foods, and there are tamasic foods. So when you start consuming more of the sattvic foods, these Arishadvargas, the anger, the greed, the envy or jealousy, these are all come into control. You can, bring them into your control to a little extent. In that way, there are so many other activities he has mentioned, to be in satsang means to be in good companionship. Watch where you are, watch whom you are with, because uh, the people around you, their actions can influence your actions. So if you are surrounding with people who have good thoughts, who think good for you, who can do good for you, or who can do good for others. If we are in companionship with those kind of people, even we can improve our way of acting. We can learn from them, we can look at them and learn from them, and we can improve ourselves. So that is why it is very important to be in companionship with good people. That is called the satsang. So this way, there are so many aspects in our life which we need to watch to lessen the control of these Arishadvargas. So what do these Arishadvargas do exactly? And when do they come into action? So when this Rajasic and Tamasic combination uh, comes into picture, these Arishadvargas, they start to act upon the person. As we spoke again, that is the reason we need to have control over our tamas and rajas. So let me ask a question here. I want you to raise your hands if anybody at any point of time in their life have ever thought or ever got a question, who are we? What is this body made up of? And everybody, we all know that we get anger, we get greed, we get selfishness. So, any of us, did we ever get a question? How are these qualities associated with our body or associated with a soul? Did anybody, any of you, did you ever get this question in your life? If you have, raise your hands. Really? Nobody ever got that question? Okay, that's okay. So, um, so today we are gonna learn, what is the connection between this universe, between these trigunas, the sattva, rajas, and tamas, and what is the connection between trigunas and between a soul and also the five elements with which this body is formed. So we are just gonna see the origins of all this. We'll try to understand. We will try to comprehend. It may be a little complicated to understand, but that's okay. If you don't understand in once, try to listen to it many number of times. That way you can understand or comprehend it. First time it may be a little confusing, but nothing to worry. You will understand. I'll try to keep it very simple. I'm not gonna go like too deep into it. Okay. So as I said, we all came from Bhagwan and we have to reach Bhagwan. The soul for every purpose is to reach Bhagwan. So what is this exactly? What are souls? How are they formed? And how do they come from the Bhagwan? Like, how do we come and take these bodies? So what they say is, what our Shastras say is, the souls, the Bhagwan, and the materialistic world, what we are seeing around us, which is called as Prakriti, all these are eternal. They do not have something, a beginning, or there is no end for this. That's what our Shastras say. There is no end for anything. What happens is all these, the souls, uh, they all have the karmas, and these souls, they come into this Prakriti, they take these bodies, they perform the karma, they accumulate karmas, and once all these karmas are clear, they go back to Bhagwan. So, why does he give us these bodies? Bhagwan is the one who gives us these bodies. So why does he do that? And when does he do that? So the process of formation of this entire universe is called Prabhavam, and there is also a process when all this, whatever we are going to see now, all this goes back to the Bhagwan again. That is called the Pralayam, Mahapralayam. So the process of the beginning is called the Prabhavam, and the process of the ending is called the Pralayam. So in this Prabhavam, what happens is, the Bhagwan is by himself in a, milky ocean. He's all by himself. So we have learned we are doing in Telugu sessions, we are doing the Vishnu Sahasranamas in Vishnu Sahasranamas, we have learned that Bhagavan has many qualities. They are called his Kalyana Gunas. Why are they called his Kalyana Gunas? Because they are all good. He only wants to do good for everybody in a dharmic way. That's why they are called Kalyana Gunas. So he possesses these gunas. With these gunas only, he performs every action, whatever he does. So when the Kalyana Gunam, like called Daya or compassion, comes into him, when that quality dominates him, usually his dominating quality is supremacy. When that supremacy dominates, the pralayam happens. He takes everything into him and keeps inside of him. He makes all this entire universe, whatever we are seeing, into a small ball and puts it inside of him. So when this quality of compassion comes out of him, he wants to, give these souls who are inside of him, he wants to bring them out, and he wants to create this universe. He wants to give them the bodies, and he wants to lead their lives again. That means he gives us an opportunity to lead our lives, perform our actions, and to go forward in life. So that is the reason why he gives our life. So he does that when that quality of compassion dominates in him. So what does he do when that compassion dominates? What does he do is, first, from him, he takes out something called avyakta tamas. These terms may sound difficult to understand, but I will try to simplify them where you can understand easily. Do not worry about these terms. Just try to understand the concept where we are getting into the Arishadvargas, how we are getting into the Arishadvargas. Okay. So Bhagavan, he takes out from him something called avyakta tamas. Avyakta meaning is unmanifested. That means which is invisible or which is hard to understand for us with our mind. So he brings out that avyakta tamas. That means it is an unmanifested tamas. Tamas means ignorance. So he brings out that unmanifested ignorance first out of him. From that avyakta tamas comes out the vyakta tamas. Vyakta tamas means it is the manifested ignorance. That means here, this, whatever this vyakta tamas is called, it possesses the ignorance which is visible. That means the ignorance which we can understand through thoughts, emotions, or behavior. So the Bhagwan takes out the avyakta tamas. From the avyakta tamas, from the invisible comes the visible. That is the vyakta tamas. And from the vyakta tamas, he brings out something called the aksharam. Akshara in general means which is imperishable. You know, so, these souls, everything, he is making room for these souls because the souls are akshara. They are never destroyable. They are always there. They are eternal. So he's just bringing out the raw material which is gonna form the souls. So aksharam, and then from the aksharam comes the avyaktam, means unmanifested, invisible form of this entire prakriti. So from the avyaktam comes the mula prakriti. So as we have seen, the ignorance comes from invisible to visible. In the same way, now he is bringing out this entire mula prakriti, the materialistic world or the materialistic, raw material, which is from the avyaktam comes the mula prakriti, which is the visible materialistic world, From the materialistic world, he takes out something called Mahat. This is called the Mahat Tattvam. So what does this Mahat Tattvam consist of? This consists of what we call as the buddhi or the intellect, what we have, that that tattvam, that the intellect tattvam is the Mahat Tattvam. From this Mahat Tattvam comes the Ahankaram. Ahankaram is the egoistic world, what we see in this world. So these are all the qualities he's bringing out. From the Avyakta Tamas, Vyakta Tamas comes. So ignorance, the Mula Prakriti, the materialistic world, he brought the intellect out. So he's gonna put everything, all these together when he forms the souls. He gives all this to the souls and gives them the body, and he brings them into this world. So how does he do that? From the ahankaram, from the ego comes these trigunas, what we have talked, the sattva, the rajas, and the tamas. So forget about the rajas for time being. We are gonna just take a look at the sattva and tamas. What is gonna come from sattva and what is gonna come from tamas? From the sattva, he is gonna bring out our indriyas, that is the sensory organs, the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas, and also mind. So the 11 things are gonna come out of the sattva, the 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, and the mind or the manas. And from the tamas, he is gonna bring out the 5 elements which this entire universe is made of. That is the space, air, fire, water, earth. So using these elements which are coming from the tamas, we have to keep in mind it's coming from tamas. So that is why this body has the quality of this tamas. So the entire, the materialistic world, or the bodies of humans or animals or anything, it is made up of these 5 elements. So from sattva, we are getting the mind, the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas. And from the tamas, we are getting the space, air, fire, water, and earth. So how is this rajas incorporated here? So for the sattva, we have the sensory organs, the jnanendriyas. What are they? Ears, skin, eyes, tongue, and smell. These are the 5 sensory organs we have, which comes from the sattva. And from the tamas, we are getting space, air, fire, water, and earth. So how are they, interconnected? If we think, what do we do with the ears? We hear or we listen. So that sound, what we are hearing, what our ears are hearing, is associated with the space element of tamas. The skin, the touch, it is associated with the air element of tamas. The eyes from the sattva is associated with the form or the rupam of, that is associated with the fire. The tongue is associated with the water. That means the taste element is associated with the tongue and water. So the smell is associated with the earth, the gandham. What is the quality of earth or the smell sense organ? The nose, that is the gandham, that is the smell. So these are called, tanmatralu. So this is how the sattva, tamas are associated, which are bringing out the qualities of rajas. So this is how, a soul with this, the shabdam, the touch, the form, the taste, the smell, the soul gets the qualities of what we called as ruchi, vasana, all the samskaras. That's how a soul gets all these qualities. So, how from here, from this sattva, rajas, tamas, whatever the jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, and the pancha bhautikas, whatever we are getting from here, with the combination of all this, putting everything into combination, he creates something called the Chaturvarnyam. So, what are the Chaturvarnyam? In Chaturvarnyam, we have Devatas, we have Manushya, we have Tiryak, and we have, Stavara or the Jangamas. So, what are these Devatas? Uh, we call them as, the 33,000 gods, what we have. What we have to understand is Bhagavan is only one. The God is only one, but he creates the Chaturvarnyas. The Devatas which we are calling, the 33,000 or the 33 groups of Devatas which we are calling, that is um, the 12 Adityas, the 11 Rudras, 8 Vasuvu, and the 2 Ashwini Devatas. They all form under this Chaturvanyam called, Devatas. And the Manushyas or the humans, as we are called as. And the Tiryaks are all the animals. The whole animal kingdom goes into this Tiryak, where the vertebra is not standing, but it's flat. Tiryak means where the vertebra is flat. And also the last, the Stavara or the Jangamas, which are the trees and also the rocks which are immobile. So these are all the Chaturvarnyam he has divided. So how does he decide who goes into Devatas, who goes into Manushya, who goes into Tiryak, who goes into Stavara Jangamas? This is where the theory of karma comes into picture. If you remember the karma sessions, what we have done earlier, we have learned that Bhagavan, depending on the result of the karmas, he groups the situations and he groups the people and he puts them together. So this is where the Chaturvarnyam is created. Depending on that soul's karma, the Chaturvarnyam is created. So this is how he puts, depending, here that karma takes the bigger picture, which is associated with each and every soul. Depending on that karma, that buddhi, that ahankaram, the sattvagunam, the rajas, the tamas, our mind, our sensory organs, our jnanendriyas, and the panchabhautika, we are going to get the panchabhautika shariram. He is going to group everything here and he puts a soul into all this and he creates, the Chaturanyam, the Devatas or Manushyas or the Tiryak or the Stavara Jangamas. So again, while we are doing our actions with this mind, with the ahankaram, with the sensory organs, with our indriyas, when we are performing the actions, we develop these Arishadvargas called the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryam. So depending on these three gunas, how they are acting upon us, we develop these gunas. So this is the history of Arishadvargas. In coming sessions, we are gonna go into each and each of the Arishadvarga and see what are the qualities of that and how to overcome that. And we are gonna learn more about each and every Arishadvarga. So if anybody has any questions, please, you can go ahead and ask.
Jai Hanuman Shalini Master, I have a question regarding Matsara. right? When
Matsalya.
we see, yeah, somebody else, right, if they have more things than us, more good things than us, we get a thought, like, well, they have good things. But after the thought, we come back to senses saying that, okay, whatever they got is they got it from their punya or papa, whatever it is. We have to accept it. But the thought
Yes.
is coming first moment sometimes. After that, I'm just convincing myself this is that this is. But you said thought also creates karma.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
how can I avoid that?
Yeah. Here, thought also creates karma. How you can, first of all, I will say it is, sometimes it is nothing wrong to get a thought that they are superior to us. And it is also good to think. See, how many of us are in a state to think that we have less, they have more because of karmas?
Mm,
Very few can
yeah.
go to that state, right?
Mm,
So there is a
mm,
difference between first state of getting the thought and the
mm,
second state of thinking that, yeah, this is because of karma. Here we have to understand, not many people even understand this part also. So why
mm,
are some understanding and why are not some of us understanding this? Here
mm,
also karma comes into picture. Because we are plagued with ignorance, we are not able to differentiate. At least this much we are not able to differentiate. But
okay.
once who get wisdom, they are able to differentiate. Okay, this is because of our karma. We are not getting it. That's okay. There is nothing wrong in getting that thought. It is very important where you're taking that thought. Are you
Mm,
trying to do something with that thought, or are you cursing them with that thought that I wish they do not have that? Where you're
mm,
taking this thought is also because in karma and free will, we have learned that it is the voluntary thought that creates karma, if you
mm,
remember.
yeah, yeah. Mm,
Yeah. So it is okay to get that thought they are superior to us. But how you are using this thought forms the karma.
mm,
Okay. And
okay.
some people, for them, it does not bother when they see if somebody is superior to them and if
Mm,
somebody is less to them. How? Means
mm,
their wisdom is a little ahead. Their ignorance is washed off a little bit more with the knowledge or wisdom where, their Arishadvargas are in control, where they
mm,
do not even feel that. That thought also doesn't come into them.
mm, okay. How to
Does
reach
it?
that state?
How to meditation, meditation
Mm,
helps a lot. And what I always suggest, that's what I have learned personally in my life. How I have learned all this is through increasing your jnanam. That's
mm,
what Sri Krishna Paramatma tells clearly in Bhagavad Gita. Jnanam is also one way to burn your karmas. So,
mm,
as we burn our bad karmas, we can enlighten ourselves. That knowledge part. I don't know if you've heard Vishnu Sahasranamas or not. We always talk about this. A is soul has jnanam by itself.
mm,
It is sahajam, like it is natural that every soul has jnanam. But because of the karmas we performed, it is filled with ignorance. So
mm,
when we try to improve our jnanam, when we try to listen to our gurus, when we try to, not just listening is important. Whatever we listen in a day-to-day basis, we have to put that into practice. If you listen something good today, put that into practice. If you listen
mm,
something tomorrow, today's, tomorrow's, put that into practice. So once you start to put that is in practice, that means every part of your life you have to do tapas. This is what is called tapas. Tapas is not something just sit and do tapas. No. When you learn these and put into practice every single day, that is what is called as the tapas. And the practices like meditation, and practices like listening to the gurus, and practices like being in satsang, good companionship is very, very important, because without our knowledge we get you know affected with them. So being in good companionship, all these things, that's how we can reach the point where nothing bothers you.
Okay. Thanks, Master.
Welcome. Any more questions? Chandrasekhara, please go ahead. Unmute.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's okay. Jai Hanuman, Amma.
Jai Hanuman.
As you well said, that sometimes the person who comes with that type of quality of higher willingness, once he comes into contact of the existing environment, అంటే అప్పుడు ఆ మైండ్ అనేది కొంచెం లో లెవెల్కి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. హీ మే కమ్ డౌన్. బట్ అక్కడి నుంచి మళ్ళీ ఎట్లా పైకి వస్తారమ్మా? ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ ద సేమ్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ కన్సిస్ట్ హీ విల్ గెట్ డిగ్రేడెడ్.
Yes, that's a very good question, Andy. So when we realize that our mind is getting weaker, or we are not able to control our mind, when the negative thoughts, the mind has a capability to attract all the negative thoughts. So once we realize, it is very difficult for a person to even realize that they are getting into negativity. But once you realize that you are getting into negativity, it's very, very, very important to come out of it. So how do you come out of it? There are many techniques for that. When you feel that your mind is going down, be in the awareness. First of all, you are plagued with fear. That is the first quality for a weak mind. When you are in fear, be in awareness and realize that you are in fear. So when this fear grows, what you do is, whenever that one negative thought hits your mind, be in your awareness and get into practices like get into breathing. Once that thought hits you, start to breathe. Take 3-4 deep breaths. Then that thought vanishes. Again, when that thought comes, do the same thing. Focus on your breathing. Or take a deep breath out, release it. So, implement these techniques. That way, slowly, you will have that fear, or, that negativity disappears eventually. And I can give you another example. For some people, what happens is, when they are driving, they get these thoughts that their car is gonna hit. Suddenly they get a thought, that negative thought, that whatever they are driving, it's gonna go and hit something. So at that point, that is a negative thought, or that is a weaker mind. So at that point, what they can do is,
ఫ్యూచర్ లో ఏం జరుగుతుంది అన్న థాట్ హీ మైట్ హావ్ గాట్ దట్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యాపెన్ లైక్ దట్. మే నాట్ బి ద నెగటివ్ థింగ్, బట్ హీ ఇస్ గెటింగ్ ఎర్లియర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, బట్ కుడ్ బి.
I don't think so. It could be, but how you can avoid is, మీరు ఎవరినైతే బిలీవ్ చేస్తారో, like like Anumaa. If you believe in Anumaa, like everybody believes in Anumaa. So put Hanuma in that thought.
Mm.
So what happens is,
Mm.
whatever the future is gonna come, that is also gonna reduce,
Mm.
and the thought also disappears eventually.
Mm.
I'm giving an example.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there are these little tricks and tips which we can implement in our day-to-day life. And the most important thing is listen to Bhagavad Gita from the right guru. Why I'm saying right guru is Bhagavad Gita is interpreted in many number of ways. If we have to get it the right way, we have to extract it the right way, where it puts us in the right path. So listen to Bhagavad Gita, listen to Bhagavatam, because in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Paramatma mentioned, when you listen to my stories, or when you listen about me, or when you hear, or when you think about me, the name, the Rupam, the Gunam, everything about me has the capability or capacity to reduce our Sanchita karmas, and also to reduce the Agami and the Prarabdha karma. So, listen to him, listen to his stories, Bhagavatam or anything. So if we can lead our life, everyday life, if we can lead in such a way, eventually we can, get rid of these weaker mind, or the unwanted qualities what we have in us.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ ఇప్పుడు మాకు మీలాంటి వాళ్ళు, లేకపోతే ఇంకా వేరే సమ్ గురు అనుకోండి, వేరే సమ్ సోర్స్ అనుకోండి, సోర్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎనర్జీ వేర్ యూ గెట్ ద గుడ్ థింగ్స్ టు అస్. అలాంటప్పుడు ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఈస్ ఎనీ వే లైక్ దట్ వీ మే కమ్ అక్రాస్ సమ్ బౌండరీస్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ కొంతమంది ఉంటారండి, బై బర్త్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ వెల్ మెచ్యూర్డ్ అండ్ అది, బట్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ అనేది వాళ్ళకి కనెక్షన్ రాకపోవచ్చు. బట్ అట్లా పోయిన వాళ్ళకి ఇంకా వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి అంతేనండి, లేకపోతే ఇంకేమైనా ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుందా?
No. At any given time, you can come up. This is all, based on idanta kuda karma is interlinked for all this. So it is, that's why they say it is always very important for us to follow this path. Manam always, if we are in that path, the righteousness, and if we are in the path of righteousness, there is a limited chance that you're pulled down. Even if you're pulled down, you will be going up if you hold on to this. Once you come down with your sadhana, or once you let go of these techniques of meditation, or whatever it is, the satsangam, then your mind starts to go down. That's why it's very important for us to always keep intact. It's always important for our kids, teenagers, to spend lesser time on phones, to to keep their mind strong. Whomever they are with, they should be they should be able, or they should have an ability to pick good peer group. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, once you're in a state where you can understand how things are going, where you're not affected with this, even if you're with the negative people, you can understand that their thoughts are negative. That's okay. We can let go of them, and we do not get affected by them. But until then, you have to protect yourself. We have to protect our aura.
Okay. అంటే sometimes what I come across is the childhood itself, you have, now you're, at this age you are thinking of this Agna Chakra and all these things. But in the birth stage, or maybe some up to some age of childhood, you may not be knowing all these things. You don't have any time. You don't have any chance to know also in the places. Some places where already enlightened persons are unnarankondi, వాళ్ళ families ఉన్నప్పుడు he will be getting that link. But when there is no link at all in that time, and then you will be forgetting those things. By the time now I realize So it means already we were there in stage. Then again now I have to think to go to that stage. At a stage undi daniki malli ellala annappudu ante already you come down to that stage to this stage and leకపోతే ఎట్లా అవుతుంది? What is that actually that happens in that stage?
That's why it's always said, even for the parents, acharana is very important. You need to perform your duties in the right way in the first place, because a child who is growing up, he is observing you. So when he is observing you, he has already his past ruchis and vasanas. So what Bhagavan does is he groups people according to their karmas. If a person who like in this life, who has put effort to be in the righteousness, or to learn more about God, or who has spent his life in the right way, what Bhagavan does is, after this life, he takes this person and puts in a family where he can grow from there. He cannot go down, he needs to grow. So when he is putting us in a certain family, we are chosen into that family based on our karmas. So we have our past ruchis and vasanas. So that's why they say the parents, the elders of that family need to perform, or they need to do certain activities where the kids are growing up, they watch and they pick from the parents and they go forward from there.
Okay.
So once, even though you are put into that family for any reason, if we do not have control on ourselves, and we make bad friendship, if the father has the quality of being alcoholic or something else, anything it could be, so you are dragging yourself down. You're not going up, you're dragging yourself down with that quality. So once you're dragging yourself down, again, it's very difficult unless your awareness comes into picture, unless you self-introspect, you cannot go higher. That's why that self-introspect is very important. Why do we say listen to Bhagavatam or listen to, stories of these Bhagwan stories? When you listen to each and every story, there is a fight over bad. There is a fight between the good and the bad. So where is this fight happening? If you listen about Ravanasura, or if you listen about Hiranyakashipu, the Bhagavan is going and killing them. So what are we learning? What does it do for us if the Bhagavan is going and killing them? How does it matter for us? You should always relate that whoever that Ravanasura he is talking about. So what are the qualities in Ravanasura? He wants everything to himself.
Greedy.
Do we have that quality? Do we have the quality of greed? The Ravanasura has ego. Ravanasura has greed. So do we have those qualities? Yes, we have those qualities. So, that is how we have to self-introspect ourselves. When we look into ourselves, what qualities we have, where are we going wrong, what is going wrong in us, then we can try to put effort to bring it out. If we do not have the awareness of what is in with us, there is no way you can go forward. That is why that self-introspection is very, very important.
Okay. So otherwise, by the time he realizes and comes to the original position as it of birth stage, that time gap, whatever is lost, is lost.
Lost, yes, lost. That's why they say, time does not wait for anybody. That's why they say, don't waste your time. Why do they say don't waste your time for humans? Because whatever that state we are talking, the moksha sthiti or whatever, it is only possible for humans. It is not possible for devatas. It is not possible for tiryak. It is not possible for this Tavara Jangamas, they have to come back to this human form to go to that moksha sthiti. Only human can get this moksha sthiti. That's why they say, don't waste your time, don't waste your time, don't waste your time.
Oh.
But
So
for us,
it's
what
like
happens is,
so this human stage is like a అంటే మడ్ అన్నమాట. ఒక మడ్, దాని నుంచి యూ కెన్ మేక్ ఎనీ రూపం. అంటే మన అంటే
yes,
దిస్ ఇస్ ద బెస్ట్ స్టేజ్ ఆఫ్ ద రా మెటీరియల్.
raw
మీరు
material.
దేని కావాలంటే ఆ దాంట్లో పోవడానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది.
Poach.
సో బట్ అదర్స్ కెనాట్ డూ దట్.
No.
బీయింగ్ ఎ రా మెటీరియల్ యూ హ్యావ్ దట్ క్వాలిటీ, దట్స్ ఆల్.
Yes. A devatalu kuda, they have to come into the form of manushya to get the moksham.
మోక్షం. ఓకే.
Yeah. So, but the thing for humans is they are influenced with this prakriti. Manam చూసుకున్నాం కదా ఎట్లా ప్రకృతి అనేది వస్తుందో, ఆ ప్రకృతిలో ఈ 3 గుణాలు ఉంటాయి, సత్వ రజస్ తమస్. సో దీస్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ మన బాడీ వాటికి ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ అవుతుంది, ఈ పంచభూతాలు. So that's how you get influenced and you sucked up into this materialistic world. అది మనకు అట్రాక్షన్ అనిపిస్తుంది, దట్ ఈస్ మోర్ అట్రాక్టివ్ ఫర్ అస్. మనకు ఆ భగవంతుని దలుచుకోవడం అనేది చాలా కష్టం, ఇట్స్ వెరీ బోరింగ్ అట్లా.
ఓకే, వెరీ గుడ్ అమ్మా. థ్యాంక్ యూ టు కమ్ అక్రాస్ యూ, బట్ ఐ డోంట్ నో హౌ కమ్ యూ గెట్ దిస్ వన్ ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ దిస్ వన్ మేడం, ఆర్ యూ గాట్ ఇంప్రూవ్డ్ ఇన్ బిట్వీన్?
I would say my Acharya Krupa. That's it. భగవంతుని కృప అండ్ ఆచార్య కృప, దట్స్ ఇట్.
ఓకే ఓకే, అంటే అది కరెక్ట్ అమ్మా. అంటే బై చైల్డ్హుడ్ యూఆర్ కమ్, ఐ మీన్ అంటే అలాంటి ఫ్యామిలీ అట్లా ఉండిందా, లేకపోతే కొంతమంది లాగా మధ్యలో మీకు పికప్ అయ్యారని అడుగుతున్నా, అంతే ఏం లేదు. ఇట్స్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్.
Actually, I was like, I got attracted to Venkateshwar Swami when I was in my 12th grade. అప్పుడు ఇంకేంటంటే అది ఎట్లా అయింది అంటే, ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ విత్ హిస్ సింపుల్ విష్ణు సహస్రనామాలు చదవడంతో స్టార్ట్ చేశాను. అండ్ ఐ యూస్ టు రిసైట్, I just got connected to the Vishnu Sahasranamas, and then I just started reciting Vishnu Sahasranamas every week. I used to not miss them. And at that age, I used to read Bhagavad Gita. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about anything, but I just started doing it. Over the period of time, etla ayipoyindante, that attraction grew so much towards him. Whatever I see a flower, it goes to his feet. I see a fruit, it goes to him. Atlanti sthitiki vachesindi. Then I had to go to find like Acharya. Then from there, when I started listening to him, what I used to do every single day, I spent many years listening to his pravachanams. And when I listen, what I do even today, when I listen to something good, I try to put into practice. I just don't listen and leave it there. I put into practice. So when I put into practice, that's how it embeds into your each and every cell of your body.
అదేనండి, ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా వచనం మనం విన్నదైనా కానీ ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ యూ లిజన్ టు దట్ యూ గెట్ సంథింగ్ న్యూ. అది మనం వింటూనే ఉంటాం డైలీ, బట్ అక్కడ తట్టది, ఒక్కోసారి ఒకటి తడుతుంది అనమాట. సో ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ అనేది, పాయింట్స్ అనేది డైలీ యుల్ గెట్ సంథింగ్ న్యూ ఫ్రమ్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్. ప్రవచనం ఒకటే చెప్తుంటారు వాళ్ళు, మనం లిజనింగ్ అదే, మనం రికార్డింగ్ లిజన్ అయినా కానీ, బట్ ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ యూ గెట్ సంథింగ్ న్యూ ఇన్ దట్. అది గోవాన్ మనం ఎన్నిసార్లు వింటుంటే అంత అన్ని కొత్త విషయాలు దాంట్లో తెలుస్తాయి. But the same thing was being told from the beginning.
That is where your sthiti comes. As your Atma Sthiti, wherever your Atma Sthiti is, you pick that point from that, whatever you're listening. Where
When
your
you get
sthiti
qualified
is,
for that, you'll get that thought.
Yes.
Qualified in the sense you should be able to receive receivable stage of that. Realization and receivability.
Yes.
Very good, Amma. Very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Uma.
Shalini Master, now, so the ultimate goal of being born as a human to అంటే మన ఆత్మస్థితిని పెంచుకోవడం. But that is the goal. Even though we realize that we need to improve our ఆత్మస్థితి, but we were already entangled into all the bandhas and all the responsibilities, so all the time is going into managing those things. So how will we get a time to get to the next level in atmasthiti?
ఆత్మస్థితి అందులోనే ఉంది.
Okay.
ఆత్మస్థితి is not something different from your day-to-day activities.
Mm.
How you're performing your day-to-day activities itself is the Atmasthiti. How you are with your kids, how you are with your husband, how you are in the kitchen, how you are at work. That shows the Atmasthiti. మీరు అక్కడ ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ చేసుకుంటూ పోతే మన ఆత్మస్థితి పెరుగుకుంటూ పోతుంది. When you are with kids, they test your patience. So how much you are able to take that patience. Most of the times we don't realize that kids come to teach us. మనము ఈగోలో ఉంటాము. We don't even
Yeah.
realize that. But when sometimes in certain situations, when you realize that they are teaching you something and you look at that angle and try to learn from that, you grow.
Mm.
But how many of us can look at it like that? So, once you start to listen to that wisdom, once you start to put into practice, everything starts to unfold. You will start to see the life. Oh, some whoever you are interacting with, okay, they are trying to teach me something here. If it's your husband, if it's your wife, it's your kids, it's your guru, it's your sisters, it's your siblings, everything is a teaching that we don't realize. We just live our lives. But once when you get into that antar madanam, introspection, we start to realize what are our siblings teaching us, what are our kids teaching us, what is the workplace teaching us. So,
Yeah,
like that.
my current struggle is uh, for a family, I have to um, create some income.
Okay.
But for that, I need to spend so much time on that. I mean, on that means to getting into a job, I need to spend so much time there.
Yeah.
And once I
Yeah.
get a job, I'll be 9 to 6. I'll be occupied. But I'll
Mm.
not get any time for myself to grow spiritually. My, atm, I know, atmonnati, for atmonnati. Do we have time for
No,
that?
no, no. No, no, no. Um, okay. Okay. So this is just for example sake I'm giving you. Okay. Don't think
Mm,
I'm talking about myself or anything.
mm,
But for example, see, when I started listening to the wisdom, speeches, so I have two kids. I
mm,
work. I take care of the family. That means I am the one who does everything, cooking, everything.
mm.
So, how do you think I did all this and I learned to the wisdom?
Mm. Yeah.
Interest.
Mm,
మనకు ఆ గట్టి పట్టుదల అనేది ఉండాలి. So when you have that interest, when you have that, passion for to do something, to go
mm,
positive, then the universe will give you time. The universe will show you the path, how to do it.
okay.
So what
Mm,
I used to do is I have a driving of 1 hour from
mm,
my work to home. Or
mm,
when I cook, you
mm,
know when I am to myself, I listen to those classes. So
mm,
when I listen to those classes, do I just listen and leave it? No.
mm,
Whatever I have listened this morning while cooking, first thing, while driving, second thing, to and fro, I don't talk to anybody, I don't call anybody, say,
mm,
hi, how are you doing? What's going on? No, doesn't matter for me. I have to listen this. I have to learn this. I have to get into the essence of this. So what I do, I listen to this in the mornings, and while coming back from work, I listen. And whatever I listened in the morning, I'm at work, right? So I
Mm.
try to practice that, whatever
Mm.
I encounter in work
Mm.
with my employees, with the clients, with the surroundings, everything. I'm in awareness, what I'm doing, what I'm talking. So once I finish, I come back from work, I go on a walk with my husband. So whatever I have listened that day, I'm lucky enough that my husband listens to whatever I'm telling him. That
Mm.
whatever information I have gathered, I talk to him. I
Mm.
tell him, oh, do you know, this is like this, this is like this, this is like this. So even if I'm not talking to him, what I do is I try to, when I'm before going to bed or when I'm alone sitting in the sofa, I try to recollect,
Mm.
what did I listen? What was that told? How I am supposed to talk? How I am supposed to think? What is the right way of thinking? Where am I doing the mistake? Am I doing this right way? Whatever the life
Mm.
situations come to you, you need to again introspect.
Mm.
So for that, did I lose anything? Yes, I have lost something where I do not have many connections with people. I don't have like many hundreds of friends. My friendship
Mm.
group is very limited
Mm.
because I don't have time to spend with them. I don't have
Mm.
time to talk to them. But what did I gain?
Mm. Gnanam.
Jnanam. And I'm gaining friends through this jnanam. You're all my friends,
Yeah. Mm.
right?
Yeah, I feel so happy to be part of Way to Moksha. I feel all great souls. I see all great souls, and they talk very with a loving love and affection. Even though we go to our neighborhood or any friends, also we don't see anything. It's like all negative emotions I see. But here I feel so positive. It energizes me every day, and
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to have Way to Moksha family.
Yeah.
Thank you, Master.
Hello, Shalini Master. This is Nilima.
Hi, and how are you?
Good, good. I try to listen most. Sometimes, if I'm really busy, I cannot understand everything, and I cannot ask a doubt also. But the way you learn and do things and practice, these encourage us to know more about this. So, more about this information. And you don't have any friends. I pity them. So, we are so blessed to have you in
That's
our session.
okay.
I'm so happy to have you and ask you so many questions whenever we can. Because, like, everyone will have doubts every day to day life, and these answers, no one, like, God can not come every day to give you answers, right? Through others only you'll get answers. So I try
Yeah.
to listen these things again and again, and then I'll get some answer. So so happy for your teachings and preaching. So thankful to Way to Moksha. As like someone was asking questions, like I'm so like trying to listen and analyze what he's asking and what everyone is asking. We learn a lot from these sessions, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to help a lot that someone has to control me not to help too much. So that was the thing.
Ah,
I used to be like, okay, I never used to think about anything because according to Baba's book or anything, you someone comes for help, you need to help, right? So then I don't even think about myself also. I go and directly try to help. But these days, like trying to say no, where I need to first give first preference to myself and family and also things around me that others around us also should not feel uncomfortable.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, thank you, Shalini
Mm.
Master. Thank you.
Yeah, that's where the jnanam or knowledge or wisdom comes into picture. We think having that jali gunam or having that compassion is great. You have to give to everybody, you have to be very kind to everybody. No, unless they say, unless somebody asks you something, don't tell them anything, or somebody asks you something, don't give them anything. So you need to know where to put your foot down and where to be in giving. That's
Yeah,
where
that
that
boundary.
wisdom
Yeah.
comes into picture. Yes.
Yes, yes. That boundaries we should be able
Yeah.
to think properly and should not do blindly also sometimes because they are taking advantage of you or
Yes.
so many things are there. And without
Yes.
asking, you should never answer actually. That I learned yesterday.
Yeah.
Someone's preaching. Some Chinnajiya Swami was talking and I was trying to listen to his things too whenever I get time. So, oh wow, that is really nice to
Yeah.
know.
When
Yeah.
you should never teach anybody anything without asking.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good. Good to know. Thank you, Ma. Thank you.